merely players. This was rightly said by William Shakespeare, which is a metaphor of humans living different lives in the world. So friends, this is Jiveen Mohanto and I welcome you all to Yorehstudios presents Cinetretalks Art on Stage. Friends, it all started with theatre. When there were no cameras in films, there was theatre, which was and even today a reflection of life. Today in our fourth episode, we have with us a young and talented theatre artist, Maitri. She has received the prestigious Prag Cine Awards as the Best Actor Female for her film Boroxun. She has done a lot of other works as well, and one of them is her short film Poetry of Whispers. So without further ado, let's welcome Maitri. So first of all, congratulations for winning the Best Actor Female Award at Prag Cine Awards.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here as well.
Yeah. So how does it feel to be at the center of limelight and winning this award?
I actually, when I went to Prag Cine Awards, I did not go expecting to win anything or lose anything. That was not at the back of my mind. I just wanted to experience. So of course, when I won the award, it was a huge surprise for me, and it does feel nice to be, to be recognized at such a prestigious platform or at such an important platform, and also for me, winning the award was great, but it was also even better meeting all these other really important personalities like actors, directors that I used to look up to. So yes, winning the award was great, but even meeting all these people was even better for me, and it made my life, like much richer, just having these interactions with people as well. So yeah, that is something that I will cherish.
It must be very overwhelming.
It is. I'm still processing it. I'm still processing because I still don't know. Because like the film released and I was very busy with the promotions and everything, like with the release screenings, etc. And right after that, Prag Cine happened, and I'm still taking it in. I'm still taking it in one by one. So yeah.
Of course, you deserved it.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to say something about the character in your film Boroxun?
Yeah. So the character, the name of the character that I played is actually Lakshmi, but she is called, everyone in that film, in that world, calls her Beni. In that village, calls her Beni, and they call her Beni because in rural villages of Assam, there is this tendency, to call someone, to give nicknames to people. Yeah. So Beni is someone who has, you can say, a limited perspective of the world. She has some kind of learning disabilities of sorts.
Okay.
So which is why she's called by the people as Beni. Like they don't think too much about her. She's Beni, and yeah, she's a very simple, very cute character, I would say. Who does not really think too much, who lives a very carefree existence. Yeah, so that is Beni.
Okay, so definitely that this really sounds interesting, and I think every person who has not watched Boroxun should watch it.
Definitely, you should go and catch Boroxun, yes.
True. So moving on to the next question. We have come to know that you have reached the given location for the shoot, that is your village for Boroxun, to get familiar with the surroundings. So did it bring more conviction in portraying the female lead?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what the challenges were with respect to playing Boroxun. The challenges, first of all, definitely because she is someone who has a learning disability. So how do you portray someone with learning disability in a manner that is not stereotypical? Like usually we see actresses portraying learning disability, but in a very stereotyped manner. I did not want it to go that, because it is a issue that demands sensitivity.
Yeah.
So apart from that, she is also a village, like a village character. She was born and brought up in a village, and in Teok. So Teok is where the shoot happened, and Teok is the village that is shown in the film as well.
Okay.
So what happened was that in our film, around 70% of the characters were played by non-actors. Were played actually by the villagers themselves.
Oh.
So in Teok, people speak a certain accent, right? So I had to go earlier. Like I went around 5 to 6 days early, just to learn that accent, because I was born and brought up in Guwahati. I don't speak like that. And if I go and speak how I speak, people will know that that this is just acting. So that conviction was necessary, that that I learned that language, that not just how people speak but how people behave, how the body language of a village girl who was born and brought up in Teok. So that was definitely one of the bigger challenges, and which is why I had to go there and stay and like.
How long did it take?
For me to
get the character and understand the lifestyle of the villagers.
Yeah, so I had been, I think it took me a couple of months, because I knew about this project from I think a year before, but I was told that I was going to play the lead much later. So I think around November, the shoot happened in February 2020, and around October, November, I came to know that I was playing the lead. So since then, I was like thinking about how to portray this character. But then I would not know for sure how exactly that character is going to be unless I go to that place. Right, go to that place. So the initial process had started from way back in October, November itself, but it finally got finalized once I reached Yoreh, once I interacted with the people, and once that exchange happened. So it was kind of a long process, but it got fixed right before the shoot started of the film. Yeah, because until then it was a work in progress. The character, like certain mannerisms, I knew I wanted, but I wasn't sure, and things like that. So yeah, it was a long process.
Okay. So your another short film, Poetry of Whispers, where you have played the lead, was released in the year 2020.
Yeah.
So would you like to tell something more about the short film?
Yeah, the short film was actually was shot in SRFTI, Cinetretalks Film and Television Institute, and it was actually a long take exercise for the director, whose name is Maharishi Kashyap. So the challenge of the film was that the entire film was shot in one take.
Oh.
So there are no cuts in between, and it is a film which is like I think 8 minutes long. So that was a challenge, and that was very new for me because I had never shot anything in a studio, in a complete studio setup, and it was a new experience. And then having to do the entire thing in one long take, that was definitely a challenge. But I think it turned out really well, and people have been really appreciative about the film and the thing. With regards to the main character, she's a village character whose boyfriend is living in a city, and so there is this kind of dissonance between the two, and how they, the little things of love and relationships. So, yeah.
So apart from your hard work and your way of understanding the character or working for the character, how did the director help you in it?
With regards to Boroxun?
Yeah, no, for this short film.
For yeah. So of course. So when I approach a character, I make it a point to know what the director's vision is for the film. So with regards to the short film, he wanted, again, like the short film, if you watch the short film, you'll know that I actually played two characters. There is a break in I think the last 1 or 2 minutes, and then my character changes.
Okay.
So the director was very clear that change should be, very visible. So up until that point, I'm a very mild village girl.
It was in one take only.
It happened in one take. That was the challenge, yes. So up until then I'm this very mild mannered village girl who talks very softly and and who is very caring and things like that. And after that switch happens, I laugh out loud and I'm this loud city person. So and then the director wanted a lot of hand gestures for the second bit. So that was the director's vision, and then we worked together in terms of how to execute their vision.
Do you even discuss with the director about the background story of the character as well?
Yeah, in any work, in any character that I do, and I usually spend a lot of time researching the roles. So in any character that I do, I make it a point to know like as much as I can about the background of the characters, because I think that even if it is not shown in the film, but just knowing these little things help me to develop the character in a much more rich manner, and it also brings a lot of depth to the characters. Though it's those little things that matters, right?
Yes, definitely. So we have seen you in many films and short films. So did this acting just happen, or you were passionate right from a very early age?
That's a very interesting question, because I had been performing on stage since I was 3 years old. I've been dancing actually, so I'm a trained Cinetre dancer, and I started my training when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
So I was very passionate about dancing from a very young age. Acting I discovered much later. I think when I was 12 years old, I was cast in a play called which is directed by Das, the veteran actress. So what happened there was, when I got cast for that role, she trained us. Like, we were all new to theatre and we were all new to acting, and we were all children. So she trained us for like a month and a half, a month or two. And it was proper rigorous training. So just being able to receive such in-depth training at such a young age made me fall in love. So I fell in love with theatre and acting when I was 12 years old, and since then I knew that this was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I've been passionate about theatre and acting since then.
You started theatre at the age of 12.
I started theatre at the age of 12 years.
Would you like to share something more about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been acting. See, I have not stopped acting since then. So I started when I was 12 with Hunter It is quite a mouthful, that is Bhavandranath Thagya's play. And then I did a lot of, and then they had theatre in our school. So I was very grateful for that as well. So again, noted theatre actor, even TV and film actor Rajiv Crow was our teacher in school. So I did a lot of plays as a part of the school. So we used to take part in theatre competitions, drama competitions, science drama competitions, and all of that. And we used to travel to Kolkata, zonal, national, things like that. So that has continued, and even when I left, so I have been doing theatre since up until class 12, and then I left Assam. I went to Hyderabad for my further studies, and the first thing that I did once I joined my university was ask for a theatre club. I was like, is there a theatre club that I can be a part of? So even before the theatre clubs, so theatre clubs in colleges and in universities, they have an official call for people to join them.
Okay.
So I found them even before they had the official call. So yeah, I mean, I've been looking for theatre since then.
So do you think that people who are from theatre background, they really, it helps them in their acting, even for camera?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know what the right answer is, but I'll tell you what my experience is. For me, initially, when I made the switch from theatre, from stage to camera, it was a little difficult. It was a little difficult because on stage you're supposed to be this loud person. You use a lot of body language, and you use a lot of, you throw your voice, you project your voice, right, to the audience. So initially that was, so when I made the switch from stage to camera, it was a little difficult for me because I had to tone it down a lot. But then I realized, I'll give you the example of Boroxun. So for Boroxun, what I did was, because the character demanded that, you know, I could not use a lot of my face for expressing. So what I did was I used my body. So a lot of the communications was done through body gestures and movements. And for that, theatre really helped. Because for TV or for screen, usually it's this portion that's mostly on focus. And Boroxun had really long shots. So I used a lot of my body for this, and definitely my theatre training was the thing that really helped me get into that character.
True, theatre really helps in your body language, your voice.
Yeah.
Even me, I as an actor, sometimes I find it difficult to use my body. I don't understand how to use
it. Yes. What to do. Yeah.
Like, because it's just till here.
Yeah.
So I think theatre really helps.
Yeah, exactly. It has definitely helped me.
So Maitri, apart from acting, you are also a trained dancer, you direct your own plays and you also write. So how challenging is it to handle so many roles?
Yeah, I think it's easier to just act because you're following somebody else's directions. So it's a cakewalk for me actually. But when you're creating your own work, when you're directing your own things, when you're writing your own things, it's far more challenging because you know, you have to do your own research, you have to create your own story, the storyline, and then directing. It's a lot of things that comes together. And I'm also new to this. Like I have been, the shift was fairly recent that I started doing these things. But I also find that it is challenging, of course, like anything else. When you're creating new work, when you're starting something from the scratch, it's definitely far more challenging, but it's also far more fulfilling, I feel, because then you are creating something of your own. And that creative process, for me, the process is very important, is as important as the product. So that creative process to be, you know, to see a thing develop from just an idea to a full-fledged production. I think that is a very fulfilling process as well.
So would you like to say something about your first play that you directed?
Yeah, so the first play that I directed was, it was on a muggy night in Mumbai. It was done in Hyderabad. So Hyderabad Pride Parade had approached us to do a play. For their Pride Parade, as a part of their Pride Parade celebrations. And then we decided to do on a muggy night in Mumbai by Mahesh Datta. And at that point of time, I was also the coordinator of E03 Theatre Club, which is the theatre club of our university. So we brought together actors. So the theatre club people, most of the theatre club people, they took care of productions, and then there were actors, of course, like we casted other actors as well who were not a part of the theatre club, and it came to around 20-25 people. The entire team was 20-25 people, so it was a lot of, and I was in my first year of masters at that point of time, and it was definitely a huge, overwhelming experience. And somebody also asked me if I should act, and I was like, no, I can't, because then it will be just like too many things to take care of, because you're looking at productions, you're looking at set. When you're a director, you're looking at everything, right? And especially this is a college production, so we don't have a lot of money. But it is also a very fulfilling process. Especially like stage work is also somewhat like building a community together, because you rehearse for around 2 months. At least on a muggy night, we rehearsed for 2 months, and with around 20 people in the team. So it was just all of us coming together every evening, trying to learn lines, trying to do this. And again, because we were all in college, it was also a different time. It was a much more fun, lighter comparatively time. So yeah, it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun doing that.
So yeah, of course, direction has got a lot of challenges and difficulties. But what is the one best thing to be a director?
A very difficult question. This. I think when you are directing, you are also in a way making things happen as you see it. So you are just executing your vision, right? So just to see, and when you are working with a good team, you can see your vision being executed just exactly how you want it to be, and it is a very fulfilling process. And also when the team also shares that same faith in your vision, like also when the team has believes in your work or believes in your vision, and then we all come together, it is a very fulfilling thing as a creator, as a director, that this idea of creating something, coming together, creating something together, and the fact that something that I have had inside for me for so long, somebody else also believes in this thing, somebody also shares in the same vision. It's a really nice thing to have. Yeah.
True. Like the actors and the people around you should understand your vision, what you want and what you don't. Any challenges you face while you make actors understand the story or the character?
It is really about. It is also really about finding the right people to work with as well. Sometimes it so happens that sometimes your wavelengths don't match. So it's really about sitting them down and taking them through the entire thought processes up until which you have arrived at that point. So of course there are challenges, like these are little things, but then how do you move past it? And sometimes of course there are compromises that you have to do, like sometimes it's always like when you work together, it's always a little bit of give and a little bit of take, so you need to make compromises, of course. So that also needs to be done in a creative process. It's just creating something together, having that bond, and making people see through your lenses that this is what you want, that this is what you're trying to see, and if they can connect to it, great. Nothing like it. But if they can't, let's also find a way so that both of us can arrive at the same point together.
Like maybe keeping a balance.
Keeping a balance, exactly. Somehow maintaining a balance, exactly. Yes.
So it is always said that theatre is a reflection of life, and in today's times, how well is theatre being able to portray the fast-changing societal norms and all the chaos that we see around us, according to you?
First of all, I have to mention this, that in the past 2 years or so, it has not been a good time for theatre, especially with COVID and the entire pandemic thing happening. So what happened then was because we did not have access to physical spaces, we had to like look for alternate spaces, and then somehow the digital theatre was born. No, digital theatre has always existed, but digital theatre came to the forefront during the pandemic. And when digital theatre came into the forefront, a lot of new things, I'd say, we were being able to address a lot of different things, because digital theatre gave us the space to experiment a lot. Things weren't just limited to a black box. Right, so a lot of things, and then theatre kind of also, like, the form really changed a little, and that gave us a lot of things. So even the form itself, like the digital theatre, being able to take theatre to the digital space, even that itself says something about how theatre is able to, right, like how theatre is able to reflect the fast-changing world, right?
Exactly.
And the kind of works that has been happening of late in the Indian scenario, I'm not just talking in terms of Assam, but in the entire in India, is great. Like, amazing work has been happening so far, and really interesting topics, really interesting themes. are being touched. And yeah, I mean, for an avid theatre lover like me, I would definitely say it's a really good time for the kind of works that and the kind of experimentations that's happening, both in terms of form and in terms of content, I'd say. Yeah. So.
Even in the during the COVID times, theatre somehow were able to survive, as you said,
Yes.
through digitally.
Yeah.
We never even thought about it.
Yeah, and especially like for me, who lives in Guwahati, who lives in Assam, because up until then, up until COVID happened, I had very limited exposure to theatre, like to world theatre or the developments, because theatre is a very physical thing.
Yeah.
No, and you don't really know what is happening, say in the United States, like some areas in the United States, or even in Bangalore or something. But once the discussions about theatre shifted to the online, shifted to internet, you were able to know about these things as well. So and we were very scared initially. We were like, how is theatre going to survive? Because theatre demands live connections, no? These live talks and these live things. So we were, but theatre survived, and I'm very glad for that. Yeah.
We all are.
Yeah.
Especially the theatre actors.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we find a way out.
Yeah. So you are also involved in another venture called as Boroxun.
Yeah.
So would you like to say something to the audience about it?
Yeah, of course. Boroxun is really this passion project of mine. It was co-founded by me and an animator illustrator called Amalendu Kaushik. And what we really do through Boroxun is we make socio-political commentaries like satire, using illustrations and animation work. And it just started as a side project because we wanted to have fun. Amalendu and I, we were both in a creative rut, and we were like, why don't we collaborate together? And that's how Boroxun was born. And strangely, people connected with our content a lot, and then it became bigger than what we had envisioned. So it became bigger. So we are still trying to, take up bigger projects that would address the audience that we have right now. But we usually work with themes of, with themes of nostalgia, and it's very rooted in Assamese culture, and also very political. We also make very political commentaries as well, using humor and satire.
You are the writer.
Yeah. So what I do is I do the research, I do the creative thinking, I do the writing. Boroxun is just Amalendu and I, so both of us we take multiple roles for that, and then I also do the thinking, and then we create something together, we brainstorm together, and
in Boroxun, how many people are there in your team?
So it's just me and Amalendu. It's just the two of us trying to run the page. But then of late, for example, for our animated short called Yoreh, we have approached other animators, and we do approach other people once in a while for different projects. But right now, Boroxun is just me and Amalendu, and we hope we can make it bigger in the coming days. Yeah, we are very hopeful about that, because we see a lot of people. They have faith in our vision. They want to work with Boroxun. They really like Boroxun, so we are hopeful, and we want to make it grow. Yes.
It is available both on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, it is available on Instagram and Facebook, and we also have a YouTube page. So please do the needful. And follow. Yes, please.
So, Maitri, we all have many memories of childhood, and it's the most cherished time. And childhood actually helps us in making the person that we are today. So, can you share with us one childhood instance that you still remember?
Wow. Okay, that is a very, very difficult question, I'd say, for me to. Because for me childhood has been a very a very interesting time, because I used to live in a joint family. I still live in a joint family. especially when I was a child, there used to be around 27 people living in the same house together. So I really grew up, I'd say I really grew up in a village of sorts, like, because there were so many people of us living together, and so many people from different parts of Assam actually, like, because one of my aunts, she actually is originally from Borpeta district, one of my grandmothers is from Nagaon district, so everybody speaks differently, everybody, it's a mix of a lot of things. But a childhood incident that I remember, I can't remember any right now. This is really putting me in a spot.
Okay, tell us about your school days, what you were really good at in your school.
So as a child I used to read a lot of books.
Yeah.
I used to read a lot of books, and even in school I think English was my most preferred subject. Apart from, of course, dancing and doing all of these things. But English was, and math, I was good at math. But again, you're good at math only until you're 8th standard, right? 9th and 10th standard is actually you know how good you are at math. My dad was a math teacher, by the way. That did not help. That did not help. But that was cool. School was fun. School was fun because I was really carefree most of the time. And my parents were both teachers in the same school, so
you must be very studious and good at studies.
I like to read.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it at that. I like to read. I really like to read, and that is something that I have carried with me even now. I still read a lot of books, and if you just take everything away from me, and if you just lock me up in a room with good books, I will be able to survive. Like, take away my phone, I don't care. Just give me books, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, it's actually good to know that you love reading books, because children in today's times, they are not quite, including me, like, we are not much fond of reading books. We like viewing things and watching television or movies. But yeah, that's reading is the most important thing even for actors.
Yeah, I mean that what reading actually does for you, and what it actually did for me was it opens up your mind, right? So when you're reading, you're imagining what you're reading. So there is this film going on inside your head, right? So it really sparks your imagination, and it really pushes your own creative thinking. So that and also reading opens up so many worlds to you. You can just explore so many things. Yeah, and it is sad that not many people read today, or because television and things have taken. And of course, television has its own advantages, but nothing like reading, I'd say.
Reading boosts your imagination.
Yes, exactly. And as a creative person, as a creative individual, that really helps me in my creative processes as well.
Even I should start reading now.
Definitely should. Yeah. If you need recommendations, just ask me.
Yeah, definitely ask from you. You have been quoted saying that women need to take initiatives in telling their own stories in art forms. So, according to you, since now many women are involved in this creative and entertainment field, so do you think women's voices are being heard, and there is some changes in their socio-economic status?
This is a serious question, and I think there are two questions in what you asked: if women's voices are being heard, and if it is changing their socio-economic statuses, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you why I feel that way with regards to the code. Initially, I was just an actor, right? I loved acting. That was my first love. And the reason why I switched to writing and directing my own plays is because I was not getting the kind of roles that I wanted to do. And which is why I started writing my own plays or taking initiatives, because I want to make, and you make the work that you want to see. So that's why it's really started. But it is a good time, I think, with, for example, Rima Das making really good films that takes women's voices and women's narratives into the center. Even Rima Bora, for that matter, like the kind of stories that she takes up. And especially in the theatre world, a lot of women directors are coming up and are making stories that really brings in a different perspective, a fresh perspective from that. But I also feel that this is very important that women are now stepping up. They are also trying to take this space, reclaim that space that has been so far dominated by a certain section of the society. And with regards to the socio-economic statuses, that is still a tricky thing to address at this point, because I don't know, because in the arts as it is, especially in theatre as it is, there's such limited resources available. And one cannot sustain a livelihood just by making or doing theatre. You need to do a lot of other things. But just by claiming these spaces and making your own voices heard, I think women are stepping up the game. And even if not today or tomorrow, maybe this will change their socio-economic statuses, the economic statuses particularly, I think, in the coming years. But I don't see it happening immediately, but definitely in the future. But definitely the social statuses is changing, and people are taking note that there are strong women with strong voices who want to be heard, and that is very important, I feel, for the industry.
Even I think nowadays women are getting bigger and better roles, but not like that stereotypical roles.
Yes.
Now even in Assam, things are changing. And you are one of the greatest examples.
Thank you so much, I'm very flattered. No, with regards to what you said, even with Boroxun, for example, Boroxun, with regards to that Benny character, we've had intense discussion with the director. So the way the director envisioned it, the way I saw it, so it was a very much a collaborative process. So I would also say that women should not be afraid of making their opinions, of stating their opinions, that this could be done like this as well. Right? And then the director agreed, like I have made certain changes, like I have suggested some things, and then the director agreed that this can be done in this manner as well. So really, like, it's about just speaking up and taking that space and then really claiming that thing. And definitely, and that's how you create bigger, better roles and not just stereotypical portrayals.
Exactly. So we would like you to give a message to all the budding theatre and film artists, and how to go on or how to get involved in this industry.
So my message as such would be to remain true to yourself no matter what, because it is a very tricky industry, and especially now with a lot of changes happening, like fast changes happening especially in Assam, like in the film and theatre, in the film and television industry of Assam. A lot of things are happening and a lot of things are changing. But I think the most important thing is to remain true to yourself and true to your own vision, true to who you are, and that itself, attracts certain kinds of people that you will be able to work with, because in any kind of industry, I'd say there are different kinds of people. Some kinds of people you will not be able to work with because people are different, right? And just by being true to yourself, I think you attract your own crowd, and that's how you really make work that matters to you. Because ultimately, that's what you want. Like, you want to make work that matters to you, that is fulfilling to you. I'd say the most important thing in both to be an artist or a creator is to remain true to who you are, and just by sticking to it, you will be able to do what you believe in.
And any two things one should not do if you want to pursue acting or theatre?
That one should not do. Yeah, this is something that I should say to myself as well. You should not be lazy, and you should always be on time, and you should be open to different kinds of things.
Exactly.
You should be open to different kinds of experiences. When you're starting out, I think you should do everything that comes your way. For me, I did art direction as well. For me, I did editing as well. So that really gives you, and especially for an actor, you need life experiences, because that's where you draw your characters out from, right?
True.
So just by being open to newer life experiences, to new work, to different kinds of work, and especially at the start of your journey, that is very important in determining how far you will be able to go, I feel.
Exactly. Even I agree that we must be open to all the opportunities that we get.
Yeah.
So very nice of you, very nice hearing of you and your advices, and I hope the young people are listening to you and understanding few things that must be done.
I hope so too.
So we have come to the end of our interview, and we really loved interacting with you, and I hope people who are watching this are enjoying. And Yorehstudios wishes you all the success in life, and may you keep shining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you and to Yorehstudios for having me here. And I look forward to having more interactions, and I look forward to watching more interactions with other people as well, because this is such a fantastic venture that you have started out on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was great interacting with you as well.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for watching. Yorehstudios presents Cinetretalks Art on Stage. This is Judy Mohanto signing off. Thank you so much.